Okay, we're here with Travers family head football coach Justin Wilcox for his media availability for August 29th. If you have a question, let me know in the chat and we'll get started. We'll start with Jeff Ferrato from Cal Sports Report.
Good morning, Justin. I believe you guys had a practice over the weekend, perhaps in a place hoping to have some hot weather. It's going to be 99 degrees, they're saying, in Denton on Saturday. There's not much you can do about that, but kind of what's your approach to that and how prepared do you think you guys will be?
We did get a practice offsite at UC Davis, and it was about 95. Got some humidity there, manufactured. So it was a really good day. Had over 2 hours out there and got some really good work in. So I thought the guys did a nice job adjusting and it'll give them a sense of what it'll feel like on game day.
Okay, we'll move on to Thomas Dunn, right for California.
Good morning, Justin. Back in 2019, you guys faced North Texas and they ran a 3-3-5 defense. It's looking like this year's edition will at least start in a 3-3-5. I was wondering if there are any tendencies you can take offensively from that 2019 game to now, even with the roster changes.
Yeah, just so many different people. I mean, there's different styles of defense out there. They have employed some of that, the three safety stuff in the past. They have a history with that in their coaching staff. So, ultimately we'll see on game day, but you use, kind of the fingerprint of the coaches and that are involved now. So the teams, there's been a lot of turnover. There's a lot of different players. I don't know that, the game from a few years back has much carryover. Things change from week to week and season to season.
Okay, we'll move to Steve Kroner from the San Francisco Chronicle.
Morning, Justin. Kind of a short but open-ended question. What would you consider a successful season in 2023?
Winning a lot.
Anything more specific than that?
Yeah, winning as many games as possible. I mean, we feel good about our team, and we're going to have to keep improving. We're not a finished product yet, but we get our first test on Saturday. We know that they're going to be ready to play, and it's a great opportunity for us to compete together for the first time and set the bar for the season and continue to try and raise it each and every week.
Okay, we'll go to Michael Wagaman from Bear Insider.
Hey, Justin. I know you've talked in the past about the collapse of the Pac-12 and where you guys might go. I'm wondering, did that have any trickle-down effect on the players, or have they done a pretty good job of kind of insulating themselves from all of that?
Yeah, all of us are so focused on what's right in front of us. I mean, practice today, practice tomorrow, having a great week, going down to North Texas and playing our best football. It's significant. We all realize that. The players get it. We get it. But until there's, something that's announced, we don't have much control over that. What we control is going out and playing really good football. And we all acknowledge it. And it's in, everybody is paying attention. So I don't want to, because of the significance of it. But as I've said so many times, I mean, these are not discussions that we're actively asked to be in. And our job is to go play great football. So that's what we're focused on doing.
Okay, is there anybody else with a question the first time around? Okay, we'll go back to Jeff Ferrato, and we'll entertain other questions after that. Jeff?
I asked you last week, Justin, about the success you had in the transfer portal. A couple of things regarding that. One is, it was the one-year postgraduate certificate program that you guys instituted a few years back. Is that sort of a game changer in terms of being able to get those people? And second of all, what does this say about where your NIL program is at?
Well, the first question you had, the certificate program has certainly improved that process. It can always be better. I think, with the number of transfers that we're seeing, that other schools are seeing, you got to have some availability of programs. And so we're constantly working on that. And our administration is constantly working on that, which is important. As it relates to NIL, I mean, the number one question you get in recruiting right now. It's a totally different environment than it was a year or 2, 3 years ago. And the dollars that are being spent across the country are eye-opening. And so having a collective and building that collective to be as robust as possible, that's a big deal. And so I go out and spend a lot of time in the off season and during the season, whenever phone calls need to be made or discussing with people about the significance and the environment out there relating to NIL, I'm on that because it is really the number one factor right now in recruiting, attracting, retaining talent in the program. So it can't be understated how critical the NIL collective is.
And how would you rate how good yours is right now?
Well, I think a lot of people have got involved with it, which is great. I'm not actively involved. I don't have the one-on-one conversations with folks in the collective, other than I'm trying to help them raise money, and that's my role. I know some of the teams of what you hear in our conference and across the country. We still have some ground to make up, and again, the best thing we can do as a team is go play great football and also spread educate the folks out there who want to support the NIL collective, what the environment is, what's happening at other places and how that's impacting the college football landscape. So, for us, it's play great football, coach these guys the best we possibly can, and also educate the supporters out there how important the collective in the NIL component is.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on to Steve Croner from the Chronicle.
Yeah, just one mundane. I think last Zoom call, you were talking about injuries and that Nate Racina was still kind of questionable. Any update on him and anybody else regarding injuries?
Nothing new on Nate. He'd be questionable for this weekend, and nothing else to report. There's some guys that are day to day, and we're again waiting to hear from the sports med team on when they'll be cleared. But nothing new to report on Nate.
Yeah, I think when we talked in Vegas a little more than a month ago, I think I asked you the question of what had you most confident in this season and what had you most concerned. Now it's 4 or 5 weeks later. What had you most confident about this team and what has you most concerned?
Well, I think our ceiling's been raised. I think we have more talent in the program. The competitiveness at certain positions. You look at receiver, the quarterback competition, the defensive backs, the inside linebackers, the defensive line. There's more competition than we've had at those spots. So that's a good thing because that raises everybody's level of play. We haven't played together, many of us, in terms of, there's 40 or almost 50 new faces. And so building chemistry, which you do that in the off season and you do it during practices, but there's no test like the game. You can't replicate that. So watching how our team, the guys who have played, how they come back and how they've improved, and then watching the guys who haven't played, maybe a little bit or any at all, how they build that chemistry on the field is going to be really, really important. And then, as I mentioned before, each week, we're going to have to show significant growth week to week to achieve our goals. And the mindset's there. Appreciate the way the guys are working, but it's one thing to do it in practice. Now we got to go out and perform on Saturdays.
Okay, we'll go to Jake Curtis from Cal Sports Report.
And how you're preparing for the heat. Is that a concern? Is that going to be
I'm sorry, Jake, could you ask that one more time?
You mentioned about preparing for the heat. Do you think that's going to be a factor in the game? Is that a concern?
Well, it's one of those things that, the weather matters. We have no control over it. We're going to go play the game. We're kicking off at 3:00. We got to hydrate. It's going to be hot. We all know it's going to be hot. We've acknowledged that. We went to play in the heat last weekend. We got to do a great job preparing this week, with hydration and fuel and all those things. So we'll rotate a bunch of guys. And do we practice every day in 100-degree heat? No, we don't. But we've played in hot games before, and if we do a great job preparing, then there'll be no excuse from us regarding the weather.
Okay, we'll go to Ron Kroichek from the San Francisco Chronicle.
Hi, Justin. Thanks for taking the time. I know you said earlier, obviously focused on North Texas, but you're also keeping track of what's happening in the realignment talk. Are you hopeful, given the reports about the ACC, and how heartened are you, whatever happens, that Cal and Stanford have seemingly sort of stuck together in this whole process?
Well, for us, it's playing football at the highest level, competing at the highest level, having a plan for success at the highest level. But until something's announced, I mean, I don't really, I read what you guys put out, or people, actually I don't, but they forward it to me. So then I read it on my phone. So I get the information that's made public. I don't get much more than that. And so until something is said, I'm kind of I don't need to be spending a lot of emotional capital on it. I'm just waiting till there's an announcement, and then there's the plan, what the plan is to move forward, and we'll share it with the team and react to it then. But I think we'd all be speculating as it sits right now. But that's kind of where I sit on all that.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll go to Thomas Dunn from Right for California.
So I was wondering, how much similar was the preparation for this week's game for Denton weather compared to the 2021 game at TCU and Fort Worth weather?
Little bit different. We didn't go off site during that time, so that was probably the main difference. And it wasn't the opener. So I guess those would be the two main differences.
And you mentioned all the depth and the new faces and new places. How comfortable are you with the depth that you built, knowing that there are going to be a lot of new faces on the field with the heat and all the rotating?
Well, again, you can never have too much. Nobody complains about having too many guys on the depth chart that are good players, but we have to go out and perform. And there's guys that are going to go out and play who, it's their time to shine, and we got to help them maybe in some of their first action. And I'm excited to watch those guys and see how they compete in a game situation. And as I mentioned before, there's other guys who have maybe played other places or who are returners here who are playing next to people that are new. So watching all that chemistry come together is going to be, key for us. And then, some of these guys that haven't played much, watching them and helping them through their first action. And once we get out there and compete, and how we're going to improve, the following week. I think that's the key to this whole thing.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Matt Moreno from Cal Rivals.
You've talked about the improving roster, and obviously you've gone through spring and now through training camp. Where do you see, some of the strengths of this team as you guys enter the season opener? What do you feel like maybe are some of your best points and some of your best strengths going into this game?
Yeah, I think the offensive line has improved as a group. The receiver group, we're going to rotate quite a few guys. I'm excited to see what they do. We know Jaden Ott is a threat. You got to see, that second and third running back. When those guys get some opportunities in there. The tight end group, really excited to watch Jack Indries and the other tight ends compete. Obviously, Sam, getting Sam out there and creating rhythm with the offense and getting used to playing with his guys in a game situation is going to be, as we all know, is critical. The play at that position. And then on defense, there's the DBs, just a few new guys, probably 3 new starters. And the defensive back room, inside linebacker, going to have some new guys going there. And then the D line is a lot more of the guys coming back from injury, having Brett and Stan and, some of these guys that haven't been with us for a little while, have them get their feet wet again. And then some of the new faces in that outside backer room. So there's a lot, to be determined, but they got a really good mindset. They really like playing with each other. And now we got to go out and execute really well.
Okay, we'll go back to Jeff Ferrano.
Justin, you said it's obviously been 4 years since you played these guys, but knowing what you know about the coaching staff and the little you know about their personnel, what do you expect from North Texas?
Oh, they're going to come out to play. We have some background just because, Coach Blesh, was there, and we've competed against their head coach when he was at Washington State. We know some of the players. They've got a really good running back room, talented quarterback room, excellent kick returner, defensively, big nose guard, edge player, some playmakers in the back end. So they're going to come out and be ready to play. We know that. And they have our full attention. And, what we got to focus on is just playing good football and going out there down in, down out, and playing through any adversity that the game might bring, and learning to play with each other in a game setting. So it's an exciting time. There'll be a ton of energy, and managing that will be key. And again, how we work through any adversity during the game is going to be key as well.
Are you getting there on Thursday?
Correct. We'll practice here Thursday morning and then hop on a plane and get there, I believe 4:30 or 5 local time.
Is that just about time zone stuff or what?
Yeah, correct.
All right, thanks.